Just a second. Perfect. Before we get started, I'll give a brief overview of what Havisham Consulting does, and then I'll hand it over to Dhruv, Anirudh, and Akshat, who will take you through Power Query and Power BI. Yeah. Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Yeah. Just a second. Perfect. Right. So, hi everyone. My name is Talha Parkar, and we're from Havisham Consulting. We're an analytics startup founded by Mr. Havish Madhupati, who is the founder, and I work with him as a consultant. Our main areas of work are digital transformation, data analytics, data visualization, business intelligence, and workflow automation. The variety of clients that we work with are in the energy and power sector, in the CPG sector, and we do a lot of work with a lot of PSUs as well, such as Bharat Petroleum, Indian Oil, NSDC, NABARD, and National Stock Exchange Academy. Moving ahead, I will skip the journey and the recommendations for now. A lot of the work that we've done has also been featured in media as well, such as the Analytics Insight magazine, the Business World magazine. Recently, we did a partnership as a consulting partner for Sabera, a sustainability award show that were hosted here in Delhi, where the jury chair was Mr. Mukund Rajan. We've done workshops, like I was mentioning, for Indian Oil, NASCOM, Bharat Petroleum. This one is at the National Stock Exchange in Mumbai. What we do can be categorized into 6 buckets. We help we help clients improve their existing workflows by writing custom and reusable formulas and doing the database modeling, because data does not come from one single source. As we all know, there are multiple sources from where data comes in, and connecting all those data sources using the primary and the foreign keys is a very key aspect before you go to the data visualization bit. We also create user forms for data entry and single view trackers, specifically in HR for performance management. And we create workflow architecture as well. Going on to the next slide. Dhruv, there are a few people in the waiting room. You're the co-host. Can you just let them in?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. And just to show all of you uh, customer story specifically in finance. So this was done for Sterlite Power, a project planning and resource allocation planning and tracking and forecasting tool. Since we're talking about finance, I would like to spend just a minute talking about what the problem was. So the Sterlite Power is an energy company, energy and power company, and they were using Microsoft Project and Tylos for coordination of the entire project, and they were doing it manually on Excel as well. Using VBA, we created a tool for them that opened on top of Excel, like you can see at the bottom right corner, that allowed them to extend the date for any ongoing project by just clicking a submit button and choosing the date, and the date would get automatically updated. Because going back to a complex tracker that has thousands of rows and 50, 60 columns, it becomes very difficult to manually go and navigate that. Similarly, another project that we did was again, for Sterlite Power, financial automation of budget, consolidation of AOP, and budget from different function heads. This was done for our client Anuradha Keria ma'am, who was the head financial planning analysis at the time at Sterlite Power. She's currently at Renew Power. Again, here we use VBA to consolidate multiple Excel files that had come in to consolidate the budget into a single view. We Before we do any project, we obviously create the workflow for that project, like we've done here as well. Just to give you guys an overview, wherein we sketch out the entire process so that just a second. We sketch out the entire process so that we have a lot of clarity, and the client also has a lot of clarity on the steps involved during the course of the project. I think that's it for now. This was another on consolidation of multiple PDFs, not just Excel file, but multiple PDFs for IndiGrid, right? I think I'll stop now and I'll hand it over to Dhruv to take it forward. Thank you, everyone. Dhruv, you
Thank
can
you,
share your
Tha.
screen and go ahead.
Yeah. Um, Let me know once it's visible.
Your screen is visible.
Yeah. Uh, okay. Anirudh?
Yeah, I hope I'm audible, right?
Yes, yes, Anirudh, you are.
Thank you so much for the confirmation. So, very welcome, everyone. Very good evening and very welcome to today's session. So, today, as already briefed by Tala, so we are going to be basically, talking about a recent project that we undertook under the guidance of Habisham Consulting. And the project, in a way, is going to be related to a retail company that is facing a major pain points related to financial planning as well as, the analysis process. Now, to understand it better, it's very important for us to figure out the challenges that the company is facing in order to provide them with the feasible solution. So, what exactly we understood that specifically their reliance on the manual data handling as well as the basic tools, the Excel tools, was resulting in slowing down, in a way, slowing down their financial reporting inefficiency. Additionally, what we came across that the diverse and the complex nature of the retail financial data was exceeding their simple analytical capabilities. That, in a way, was creating a gap in providing them being more efficient. And finally, their inability to access the real-time data was hampering quick and agile decision making. What have we tried to do here? That after understanding these challenges, we are basically going to be leading to a significant, solutions that will help overall the company to basically overcome it. Moving on to the next slide here. Yes, thank you so much, Dhruv. So before we talk about how to tackle the challenges being faced by the company, it's very important to figure out the important KPIs, right? So now we're going to be talking about what certain KPIs we took into consideration that would provide the most valuable insights for the retail financial planning and analysis. So talking about the sales growth, that was the first KPI that we took. And we are trying to over here to talk about the year over year to track the overall revenue gains the company is basically undergoing. Then we took into consideration the gross margins to measure the profitability index. Then the third, we took into consideration the operating expense ratio to gauge the spending efficiency, because it's very important to understand the spending efficiency for a particular organization to take the financial decision. Talking about fourth, took into the consideration the operating profit margins. That was talking about the overall operational profitability of the organization. Then we have taken into consideration the inventory turnover rate to assess the overall stock management. And so and so forth. We took into consideration a quick ratio for balancing the sheet health and then the COGS ratio to analyze the production cost. Now, with the help of these KPIs, we are going to be tracking them all over a 2-year period from 2022 to 2023. And we aim to unlock a 360-degree view into the financial and operational drivers of the business. Moving ahead, we are going to be talking about the key foundation. That is, how exactly we went ahead, we created the data set and what sort of preparation we did. We are going to be moving into step-by-step manner in order to make itself clear to all of you. Starting with our approach. So our approach, first of all, involved, leveraging the chat GPT. So what we did, we started understanding or taking out dummy data set that in a way will result into the real type SAP, financial data that can help us to analyze it further. So for chat GPT, it's very important that we are aware how to put forward basically, the proper prompt. So it's very important that we should figure it out and then we should proceed with it. Yes, over to you, Dhruv.
Yeah. So once we started leveraging from the chat GPT, we entered certain prompts into that in order to make sure that whatever the data set we are collecting, it's a real-time data that we wanted to cross-reference. So we asked ChatGPT, let's say, create a dummy data set, and it should resemble a certain SCP data for a retail company. And we incorporated some data inconsistency also. So what we wanted was certain real life inconsistencies to come into the picture as well with regards to inconsistent data formats, whether it be duplicate values or the missing values as well, or data accuracy. So let me walk through with the main slide, which is the Excel one. So we had 2 years data for 22 and 23, and then we had a dimension table. So with regards to the cleaning of data, this was first. If you could say that since the data is not clean yet, it is you can see all the we had to using a Power Query function, we clean the data. We could have done the same thing on Excel as well, but then we would have to use a left, right, and a mid function. And each and every time we would have to define what character, what spaces would have to be taken into the consideration as well. We could also see certain duplicate values with reference to the customer IDs as well. And if you could see the COGS, the cost of goods sold, INR, all the data discrepancies is there. At certain point of time, you would also find out that there is a missing values to a certain extent as well, which we ideally do not want in our main data set. So let me walk through you with what exactly have we done from the Excel, loading into the Power BI, and cleaning of the data, and how we have created a certain DAX measures also with regards to that. So uh, I'll open a fresh file just a minute. I don't think so I can do it.
Top right corner, just close it. Top right corner.
Actually,
Yeah.
okay. So yeah. So what to load the data as well? We have different sources from which we can load our data into a Power BI as well. It can be from a folder to a file of Excel to even a SQL server also, or a CSV file also. We have all the multiple functions which you see. The Power BI, that's what the effectiveness of Power BI is. It's not limited to one extent of loading the data. You can load your data from multiple sources and one go. So let's see. If you want to load our data from our Excel workbook, yeah, I'll just so these were the three data set that we wanted to load on. So okay, just a minute. Since the files are open, so make sure that once you're loading the file onto the Power BI as well, you have to close your files, otherwise it won't load, take into the consideration, and it will provide the same error which you just saw. So make sure that all the files are closed as well. So okay, we have chosen the options of doing it one by one file as well. So once we load the data, you'll see these options coming as well. So you'll see on the first instance what exactly the Excel workbook consists of. It consists of a fact table data set as well. So I can load data here, or I can go and transform data. The transform data will take me directly to the Power Query window. I'll first load the data set as of now. Okay. I'll load one by one. Okay, let the changes apply first, and then we'll try to merge the files and then remove the data inconsistencies on that as well. Um, uh, so once we are trying to do is what we are trying to is show is that on Excel, if you wanted to remove multiple data inaccuracies as well, first we had to merge sheets in one go. Then we had to use certain characters functions as well. What we are trying here to achieve is that using the Power Query dynamic field and a Power on Power BI, we also have the function. So we are trying to make it much more easy, convenient, and much more simplified process as well, in order to showcase what exactly it is all about. Yeah.
Okay, so we have here two fact tables and one dimension table. And so the reason is in fact table, we usually have, all the numerical kind of data. And in dimension table, we have, primary keys, etc., from which we will be sourcing the data from. Uh, okay, Drew, have you loaded all the files?
Yeah, the files have been loaded as
I
well.
think one is remaining. I think it's
The
dimension table.
okay,
Okay, let me.
yeah, dimension table is also there. So it's also important to know that you have to rename your files, or the as a fact table or a dim table. It's important to know that because there's a huge difference between a fact table and a dimension table as well. So it's important to know what the difference is all about. Uh, Akshat, if you could just explain them what exactly a fact table and a dimension table is all about as well.
Yeah. Actually, in fact tables, we have, like in our case, we have in fact table, we have different KPIs, like their numerical data, like different kind of sales, COGS and profit margin, etc. So like from fact table, we and using primary key, we can source data from the fact table to another table. So that's how it works. And in case of dimension table, like in here we have product ID, so it's a primary key of this dimension table. But if we see like fact table, in fact table we have another product ID, so it becomes foreign key in this table. So we can say that like the primary key of one table is foreign key of other table. So this is the concept of foreign key and primary key. So I think we have loaded all the files. Yeah. So I think we can move ahead with the data cleaning process. For that, we will need to transform the data.
So on the home tab, you'll find the option for transform tab. The window that is going to appear now, this window is called the Power Query, which allows you to, which shows you all the files on your left hand side, and on the right hand side, which you see the applied steps, is where your child, whatever the changes you are going to do onto the files. Here, all the steps will be showcased one by one by one.
Also, Power Query is available in Excel as well. So if you don't have Power BI, but you have Excel 2016 version or anything after, you will have access to Power Query.
Also now, since we have loaded these files and we have went to the transform data, now we have three of the queries, the data of 2022, 23, and dimension table. And we want the data to be merged, appended together. So for that, we can use here, in the top right corner, append queries. So we have two options: either we append queries into the same file that we have selected, or like as a completely new query. So we are going to go with first option, and we have to make sure that the column are same in both the files that we want to append. If there is one column name, even it is case sensitive. So even if let's say in customer ID we don't have a space in between customer ID, and in 2023 we have a space, so there is a difference in the column name, so it won't append, it will show error. So we have to make sure each and every column is same in both the files to be appended, and it is also case sensitive, so we have to make sure the column names are exact same. So since we have two tables right now, so we are going to append the second one, the 2023 with along with 2022 table. So it should work now. So we have, I believe we have appended it, and just to check it, we can use a filter option here. Just give me a second. Yeah, so this can work as a confirmation, data of 2022 and 2023. Okay, so we have loaded actually both the files. So we have all the files here, both 2022 data and 2023 data. So this confirms it.
Additionally, if you want to revert back any of the steps that has been mentioned, or going through any uh, step that you think was not to be done, on the right hand side on the applied step, you can just simply click on the cross button and it will take you the original step as well. Also, you can click on one by one of the each of every steps to make sure that the all the steps you have done is correctly done or not. Even at any step, if you feel like it's not done correctly, you can remove that certain steps as well, but it will have a certain impact also. So make sure whatever the steps has been incurred, uh, it it a summary of those steps. Applied step is basically a summary which provides you what all the steps have been done.
Okay,
Akshay.
so coming on to the data cleaning part. So since we have appended the query, we can move ahead with the data cleaning part. So there are two ways to find out errors. First, we can do manually, going through column by column, row by row, and find discrepancies in the data. or either we can use a filter option to see what are the different values in a column. So let's do with the second option, that is filter one. Let's say for uh, let's say for customer ID, we're gonna see if there are any discrepancies in the data. So it shows null. So that means some of the rows in the customer ID are blank. So data cleaning part involves cleaning these values, because this will create errors in our a data analysis process. Okay. So we are going to just simply remove them. I think it should work. Remove empty.
So now, if you have seen, we have gotten a null cell as well and a blank cell as well.
Just give me a second.
Oh,
Yeah.
If you click on remove rows option on the top and side, Akshat, on the home tab, we found out that here as well, we can find out remove duplicates as well, and remove the blank rows or remove errors if any. So let's say if we want to remove a certain blank row from a customer ID, which we feel that is irrelevant at this point. So if you click on a relevant row, yeah, the null ID and the blank rows have been removed as well. And to cross check, we'll remove a null aspect as well. Why did we do this step? Because what we felt was, since the values will be missing for customer IDs on all data sets, which will become irrelevant, which have become irrelevant for us at this point. So we have certainly removed and cleaned our data file as well. So if you see, the customer ID has been uh, cleaned. Also, additionally, I'll take you on to yeah, at appended query stage, you saw this little gray option. You could see why, because either null value is there or a blank value is there. So make sure that so this automatically says that your file is lacking certain aspects of the data as well. Once we filtered the row and removed the blank rows as well, it became a full green line as well, meaning that there is no data inconsistency in that aspect. Still, to cross check your reference as well, it's important to know that you must cross check also whether the step has been implied or not. Additionally, since customer ID is usually the whole number and the number aspect as well, we have as of now made sure that it's a number aspect, it's a text aspect taken into the consideration. For if we had taken a total sales or the COGS INR in certain aspects as well, we had to make sure that uh, the relevant numbers are the relevant aspects are taken into the consideration. Where if for customer ID it is a text, then for total sales it should be a numerical aspect, the decimal aspects, or a whole number. You should always check that, or if it's not clean, or since Power Query automatically reads what exactly the value is all about, but still, if the data is still not clean, make sure that you're changing that relevant aspect as well.
So as you can see, like in COGS column, we have numerical values, but also we have text values like INR. So the question is how to remove it. So we are going to use for that we are going to use delimiter. So let's do it. And I think extract.
Yeah.
And then we have text after limiter.
Yeah.
We are just going to give a space here, because there is a space between numerical values and the INR. So let's see how it works. Okay, so the process was actually, if you have done a wrong step, you can always remove it. So we are going to use actually the before delimiter here. Text before delimiter. Okay. And the same process, entering a space, and we have removed INR from our COGS. So it is now, since it is in a text format, we can always change its data type. That is, it is a number, or it is a decimal number. So It should work fine now. So since we have errors, we have to remove those errors.
Since at every error point, you also see that on the operating expense, there is a null value or a blank value as well, which states that this row, its entirely, is not relevant for us. So we'll remove the irrelevant rows only from a certain access. Since we selected only one column at that point of time, it removed those columns also. You can multiply select your columns as well by doing a control aspect also, and once done a control, it selects automatically. So Akshat will do the same thing. If you just go to home aspect and just remove from rows and remove errors. Remove rows. Yeah.
So so I think errors are gone now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Since it
And
has shown the green signal, it has given us a green signal, so we can move ahead to the other column, and we can always replicate these in another column by selecting all of them. Uh,
So, if once Akshat is selecting the rows using a control option, he'll select a control
yeah.
uh, to whatever rows columns you want. Just keep pressing on your pressing the control button on your laptop until whatever column you want it to be selected, click on that particular column. So it automatically selects to that extent.
So we're gonna do the same again, text before delimiter and giving a space in delimiter, and it's gonna remove all the INR and will give us numerical values, but in the text format. So again, we are gonna use, we are gonna change that format to number. Change type and then decimal number. So it's fine now. You can see everything is in a green bar, and I believe it's fine now. Again, we can always confirm with the filter option. Like uh, either we have null value.
It's always important to check from your filter point of view also that whatever steps that you have done is accurate or not. At certain point, you might feel like a certain step has been done from your end, but a null value or a blank value is still appearing. So in order to make sure that it is not appearing, check each and every column once again also once your steps are done. You'll it will be easier also the next time once you load a certain another data set onto your file so that you can learn from certain aspects or what additionally went wrong as well. Yeah.
Okay, so I think for date column we don't need time, time value, so we can change it to only keeping it as a date, not time value. So we will change it from the change type and to date. And
Additionally, we also created a date column or date table as well, which Akshat would be showing it to you as well.
yeah, and also the significance of date table in the Power BI. We cannot use just the regular date table. We will have to create a date table. I think yeah, in total sales we have, I think, a problem here. Uh, just give me a second. Okay. I believe these null values always occur when there is when there is a difference between column name of two appended tables. So we're gonna check where we have done a mistake.
Um,
Uh,
so since we have already appended our queries on the total sales, Akshat, once you go through the
yeah.
total sales and if you just filter on the date column that we just showed everyone,
Mhm.
let's select the year 2023. Additionally, why this column has also come is because there might have been a certain irregularity in our Excel file as well, which we had to make sure that this. If you see the total sales also coming up for Akshay, just go through the total sales aspect
Yeah.
once. I just show. Yeah, yeah. So if you see that a total sales is still appearing, that it has created an additional column, which as of now we do not require to our extent. There might be a certain issue when loading a Power BI file also. So we always make sure what that certain issue is keep on persisting as well. As of now, since we do not need that another duplicate file that it has created for us, we'll just simply remove that from a certain aspect. Yeah. So if you click on this and just you just remove that particular column as of now. Yeah. But control and just second column, pressing the delete key as we have removed that column as of now. Yeah. Akshat, would you be taking forward as well?
Okay, I think it should be fine now. Just let me go through once. Mm. Let's check also here too, like if there are any data discrepancies here.
It's important to cross check each and every time because once you have loaded onto the Power Query, then again, if at a certain point you have made certain changes or you have created a certain DAX measure as well, and at a later point of time you realize that a certain query wasn't appended or a certain value or discrepancies affecting that, then you would again have to do all the again have to move on to the Power Query and change that step, which might affect the certain steps as well. You might have to create an additional step for it as well. So it's important to cross check your data at each and every point. The initially it will take time to sort as well, but once the data has been cleaned and everything has been sorted, the process becomes very much easier and simple as well.
Okay, I think we are good to go now. We're going to do close and apply.
So once we are doing a close and apply, all the changes that we have done onto our Power Query file, it will work here as well.
Uh,
So since an error has come up, what we do is we move on to a Power Query window as well. Yeah. So if you see certain rows haven't been removed as well. So either what we can do is because since it had certain errors also coming up, so that's the importance of checking our steps at each and every point of time as well. So since the row number these certain aspects are still appearing, what we can do is we can remove them also. We can either delete it from a data set from here as well or move on or from the main fact table as well.
yeah, from Excel file too. We can do that.
So yeah. So Akshat, if you could just move on to the fact KPI, we'll just show
Yeah.
them as well. Yeah. Yeah.
I think we should delete these rows which are creating data discrepancies.
Yeah, we can definitely do that.
Uh, we can choose a base as I think row number should be fine, right? These row numbers.
Yeah. Yeah. So either we can do via row numbers as well on what rows are that, or taking into the consideration that let's say if you move on to our store location or a total sales aspect as well, we'll definitely find let's go into a store ID first. So I'll just tell you what store IDs have been taken into the consideration. So just let me filter S101. Yeah. So here we'll try to find out, see, once we have filtered out a certain aspects work coming up here as well. So yeah. So to a certain extent, what we didn't see was why these errors will keep on coming as well. Those are, might be a null value, might be a blank error also operating here as well. So what we'll do is remove any blank rows as well. So either that, or it might be remove empty rows. Right. So we are showcase. Akshat, would you be taking it forward as well? What else? Or we can just simply remove the rows as well from our data set, since it
Yeah.
whatever it was, we can persist. So I'll just
I think we
first make
can
it.
do it manually too.
Yeah, yeah.
Seeing what are the, like, there are five. I think one is remaining, right? 382.
Yeah.
And 4 store ID, S101.
Yeah.
Okay. So we can search it up and filter it out. Uh, for its okay. So I think this is the one which is creating error. Okay.
Yeah.
So we have an error in these uh in this row.
So either we can, which we'll be removing as of now manually from our end, but that's the importance of cross-checking your data each and every time. Initially, first what you saw was a pure green lines appearing as well, but that simply doesn't mean that we don't have to cross-check our data as well. We can take into the consideration that our data has been cleaned, but once we close and apply the data set also, to a certain extent you saw why it wasn't getting removed, why there was an error coming as well.
I think we can also try removing errors too. Operating expense.
Yeah.
I think it should fine. It should be fine now. Okay, let's try again. Close and apply.
So the data has been
I think.
loaded from the Power Query. Yeah.
Okay.
Akshat,
So we can
as
go
well.
ahead with the date table right now. Dhruv, can you please open like Chrome and search for SQL BI date table? Like we have basically taken reference from the SQL BI website to create a date table, because they have briefly mentioned what is date table and how to simplify it in a simple manner. Okay, scroll down, please.
Akshat, if you can also mention why a date table is required.
So in regular date table, let's say if we have created a table, Dhruv, can you move to the Power BI and Power Query?
Yeah. So Power BI has been, yep.
Yeah, like if we go to transform data to see the date column. So here we had date table, regular date table in date format. But if we were to visualize it, let's say if we were to put it on the x-axis, we cannot break it down or like on the basis of quarter or month or year or even weekdays. It becomes very difficult to analyze sales over time. So that's where date table comes into the play. It simplifies our analysis to the minute point. Either we want year on year basis sales, or we want monthly sales, or we want quarterly sales. It helps us a lot in analyzing the data, like certain key metrics like sales or costs, etc. So
Correct.
that's
So
the
for
purpose of.
any time intelligence calculation, like Akshat was mentioning, year on year, month on month, quarter on quarter, week on week, same period last year was the same period this year, you would need to create a date table in Power BI to do any of these time intelligence calculations.
Yeah, Dhruv, can you go to the website again? Can you like just type SQL BI date table in, yeah, and yeah, this one. Yeah, scroll down. Yeah, this one. So we have taken this as a reference. This code is a reference. You can also try several other variety of date table based on your like what kind of analysis do you want. So Dhruv, can you like copy this code from here and go to the Power Query? So now
Also,
let's for date table. Talha, were you saying something?
yeah, so I was saying the reason that we're going to the SQL BI website, firstly, is SQL BI is like the go-to website for any Power BI related problems, challenges, blogs or articles. And the reason that Akshay is copying the code from there is because the DAX measure, the calculation for a date table is pretty standard. Hence, we are directly taking that formula. You don't need to create something on your own because, anyways, it is a complex concept and you can directly pick what is available on the website.
And so to create a date table, we'll just go into the table view and click on new table. Uh, and we will so this is the section for text query, and we'll paste on it. Dhruv, can you paste it the text code here? Yeah. So but the job is not done because it is just a template. We have to modify it to suit to a data set. So we're going to remove these columns, predefined columns, the names, and for okay, this should work now. Let me recheck it. Uh, I think this should work now. Okay. We're going to do the same for. Just give me a second. There's a problem, man.
So any discrepancies that are taken into consideration, be it the file nomenclature that has been taken from Excel or a fact table as well, even if you have mentioned a facts or any sales, or if it's a sale and you have mentioned sales, it won't take into that consideration as well. So make sure that all the files are as per all the nomenclatures are as per the files mentioned as there. So once action is going through all the date table, once a date table has been constructed, it's easier for us to know what time, date period, and the year, and a hierarchy can be made on the basis of that as well. We'll be showcasing you the relationship structures, what a Power Query automatically does as well.
Okay, so just to give you insight why we are using calendar auto and this condition. So the reason is if we simply use calendar auto, so it is gonna like it will gonna scan a whole like our data set and find 2 years automatically, and it will create data table according it. But there is a problem with that. Let's say if we have sales data, but we also have date of birth of our customers. So it will also take into account the date of birth of customers. But we only want the sales date, sales date table, sales data. So that's why we are giving it manually, like what year you are going to consider and what no. So we will specify minimum year and the maximum year. So that's the like, basic idea of using min year and max year. and and here it is just gonna break it down, calendar year, month name, month number, weekday, on whatever basis we want our data to be broken down into. So I think we are good to go with the date table. And okay, so we have a date table here, and we can just quickly go through it. It seems fine. So okay.
Yeah. Also, here only, if you see that there's this option, just yeah.
Okay. So one more important thing, we always have to mark it as a date table. So for that, we're gonna click on this, and in date column we are gonna put a date, and then okay. Okay. Now our job is done. We can move ahead with other KPIs, our measures. And also, we will also have to create a relationship. And for that we'll just gonna go into model view, and where we will all we'll find different kind of tables we have in our analysis. Like we have fact table, we have for 2022, we have fact table for 2023, we have dimension table. We can always arrange them accordingly.
Yeah.
Just
So
to
if
give it
you
more
see,
space.
the Power BI has automatically created a relationship between the existing one. If you want to create a new relationship also, we'll just simply drag and drop from that and give a relationship from one to many, many to one, depending upon the type of scenario you're using. Here, if you see, it's going from one to many relationship from the dim table to a fact table as well. So it's automatically creating a relationship between the product IDs taken into the consideration, or the the product ID from a dimension table to a fact table 23, and from product ID to a fact table data 2022.
Yeah.
It's
So
automatically
yeah.
creating a relationship.
Since we don't want 2020 data here, we are just gonna hide it for now. We can actually solve this problem when we actually import data in the folder format. But since we have imported in the Excel format, for now we are just gonna hide it and delete this relationship, since we don't need this kind of relationship. Uh, we only need a fact date table data 2022 and dimension table, and we're just gonna move it just to avoid any confusion. And for date, we are just gonna create a relationship with date in both the tables. So we have regular date table that we saw like at the very first time, and now we have created date table, so we can connect it with the date table of the regular table. So now the connection has been established, and it should work fine.
So why we are doing this, we would be showcasing you the use case studies also of how representative and importance of Power BI is all about, and how the visualizations also work, and what are the relevant case studies for from any industry perspective as well. So yeah, Akshay.
Okay.
So once the Akshay, go ahead,
Yeah,
please.
like should we go ahead with the new measures, KPIs? Like we will need that to basically create visualization.
Yeah. So as Anirudh already mentioned that we before
Akshat,
taking
there is a
into
question. There is
Yeah.
a question in chat.
Yeah, uh, is date table a dimension table or fact table? Uh, I won't say it is a, like it can be I would say it's a fact table, because we have numerical values in that, and we are gonna reference it using some kind of key. Basically, it will be a primary key. So like in our case, it is a date that we are referencing it. Date is the unique one. Other can replicate. So I will say it is a fact table. Does
Akshat,
it? Yes.
date table is your master table, right? From where
Yeah.
all the month, week, and whatever granularity you've created will be there. right? So won't it be a dimension rather than a fact? Because a fact is a transactional data. Your date table is not storing any transactional data, right? It's
Yeah.
a master date table,
Okay.
right? So it'll be a dimension, not a fact. Right. Perfect. Carry on. No need to create all the measures. You can
Yeah.
maybe show, since we're
Just I will just show
yeah,
the
yeah, sure.
measure
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sales over year.
Perfect. That
Like,
would be great. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. From
Also,
that,
once the date table has been created, we can also create a hierarchy also in our relationships as well. So it's easier for us the time period to be considered. It's either year or a quarter or a month on a hierarchy level as well. Because once a visualization and DAX measure has been created, we can drill down to see a relevant standpoint of view from which particular layer to which particular quarter and to which particular month the transactions or the measures which we are going to create just now have been the most or the least, which gives us a most meaningful insight as well as the company can improve or work upon it or take whatever the key decisions it has taken into that consideration as well.
Dhruv,
Yeah.
you, okay. Can you like go through each and every column? Like, what are different KPIs we have taken?
Yeah. So I'll
Yeah.
just go through different KPIs, certain aspect. Yeah. So you'll be using Power BI. Okay. What we have done is we have taken accounts receivable turnover as well as a KPI as to how many transactions the customer is using and are they paying on time or not. Then the sales growth from 2022 to 2023, how much has been it is in that comparison as well. Then our uh, cost of goods sold ratio as well and quick ratio as well. Quick ratios are assets upon liabilities as well taken into consideration how much we are investing, how much we are not, what are our liabilities into that aspect. And this gives us a from a financial standpoint of view also what exactly and how long the company is going to function or how are they going to function for the next 2 to 3 years also the forecasted period as well. If let's say our quick ratio is a very extreme measure also, is will it be good for a company to a certain extent or not? That insights can be derived from that useful measures taken into the consideration as well. So here what Akshat is trying to do is he's creating a year on year sales growth measure, which will simply allow us to showcase what is the growth period from a 2022 point of view to a 2023 point of view as well. Additionally, we can also create a slicer also, which helps us to bifurcate. And once we click on the particular years as well, that 2022 is the which how what was the sales in 2022 the overall and 2023 what was the sale. So you can bifurcate using the slicer as well, which helps to substantiate from a time period point of view also. So once all these measures are created, we'll be also showcasing a visualization aspect and what we have initially done on our project, the overall visualizations as well. Uh, how it has been beneficial for us and how what useful insights we have also derived from that as well. So on the home tab, we would be seeing a lot of visualizations of bar chart, clustered column chart, slicer, tree chart, each and every aspect. So at the end, it would be useful what exactly visualization you want to showcase and how you would be showcasing that as well. Yeah. So since on once we do a sales growth is usually in general it's the current year minus the previous year from the previous year we are taking into the consideration. So here we are taking certain key components on how a DAX works on Power BI. It depends upon variable or the variance which has been so VR is what exactly you are taking into the consideration and calculate is basically showcasing from which period to which year it has to calculate as well. Also, additionally, you can see that if let's say any syntax is wrong, you can the error message will showcase, and you can put the relevant syntax or any missing values as well, which additionally was wrong. So on the fact table, once what Akshata is doing right now is he's going and selecting the fact table data 2022 as well. You can short check whatever fact relevant data you want to take into the consideration and move ahead with it as well. Yeah. So once the relationships and everything was established as well, uh, from a financial standpoint of view, it was important for us to showcase why there has been a sales growth of the company from the year 2020, from financial year 2022 to 22-23 as well, or not, and what were the different categories, the inventory level Yeah. Uh, am I audible? Just to cross confirm with everyone.
Yeah.
Yes. I think once you complete this measure, na, you can then show some visuals.
Can I just copy paste the rest of the uh, measure from my last, and then I'll explain everything.
Sure,
The
sure, sure.
measure.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Definitely. No
It's
issues.
taking quite a time.
Yeah, don't know.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. And just for giving everyone some more context, the fact that he knows what the formula does is more important than the fact if he can write the formula or not. Because now that we have Chat GPT, all of these formulas can be written with a few prompts. The whole idea is for someone who knows what the concept is, for them it is an aid. But for someone who does not know what the concept is, they cannot just go ahead and simply copy paste because जब error आएगा for the first time, then the person gets stuck and does not know how to resolve that error, right? But for someone who has conceptual clarity, even copy pasting a formula that has been generated on ChatGPT would be a better option in terms of saving time as well.
Adru, can you like copy paste it? I've sent you the formula.
Okay, if
Yeah.
possible, yeah. If you could just share on the chat also the formula as well, so we'll just use that from the chat as well. If you could just copy paste the formula on chat, and we'll just on the Zoom chat only.
Okay. Okay. I'll paste it here.
So most of the formulas, what we were trying to do also, we took some consideration from Chat GPT to a certain extent also. If we faced any problem, we were trying to resolve that. Why wasn't this query or this formula not working, since it was a relevant one as well. Yeah. So since Akshat is just copy pasting
Dhruv,
the
can you like
formula.
copy paste? I'm not able to copy paste in your screen.
No, no. If you could just copy paste it on the Zoom chat only, if you could just see it
I've
there.
done it actually. Like, can you see it?
Just a minute. Yeah. Actually, anything as such, no. Uh, in the group chat, on the Zoom chat only, right?
Okay, wait. Let me just.
Yeah,
I've put it, I've
yeah,
put
yeah.
it, I've
Yeah,
put it.
actually,
Yeah,
I've
you sent it to me by mistake.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
no
Okay.
worries, no worries.
Just copy paste it. Yeah, done. Akshat done.
Okay. I think it should work now. Oh, actually, we will have to change the file name because it's different here.
Yeah. Um, So even if you're copying pasting a certain formula also, it's important to know that to change with your respective file names also, because if you had because what you saw was, since we copy pasted a certain formula, it did not work because the file names weren't matching. So you have to edit the formula to make sure it's relevant to your file as well. Yeah.
Okay,
Uh,
so let me go through the formula once. So basically, this formula calculates, the percentage change in total sales from the previous year to the current year. So like it works in the following way. Like first we use the total YTD function to calculate the total sales number for the current year, and based on the fact KPIs table and date table. So next we use calculate, and same period last year, you can see it here in capital letters, to calculate what the total sales figure was in the previous year for the same period. And we compare the current and previous year numbers to calculate the raw sales growth amount. Then we divide this raw growth amount by the previous year sales uh, to get a percentage growth figure. And the if statement here, you can say the checks for errors, and handles possible divide by zero scenarios, like when you try to divide by zero. And if valid numbers, it returns the year over year percentage growth rate. Otherwise it returns black. So that's it. That's how it formula works. And it has created a new measure, you can see it here, year over year sales growth. And we can simply plot it in a bar graph or line chart.
so
Dhruv, can you like
let's
visualize it
yeah
using a bar graph or anything?
yeah let's say we take a card only as of
Yeah.
now. We can
We
take
can.
there are two types of card, a new card,
Mhm.
or since the features are keep on updating as well. So let's take we've taken a card. We have If we have created a measure, so we just put in data tab, and it's showing that on particular basis it has been negative 0.01. You can cross check convert your data into percentage type as well, uh, and make sure that whatever the growth percentage is all about, since we have created a sales growth, not we have not even mentioned percentage as well. If you have mentioned a percentage aspect, uh, we can edit that as well. Yeah. So if we just say like okay, yeah, here if we say it's a format version, let's convert into a percentage. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's showing that from the year 2022, from the year 2023, our sales growth has actually declined from that standpoint period of time. So this is a very critical analysis for the company as to know why a sales growth has been declining from that standard point of view as well. If there has been a certain inventory level increasing situation that the company has taken into the account, or the customers are not paying on time, or whether the investments have increased over the period of time, but the return on investment is not there. So these all the factors have to be taken into the consideration uh, as well. So Tala, is it okay if we showcase
Yeah, yeah.
our live project
You
as
can
well?
show the dashboard as well to everyone, right? Uh,
So
so just for context, we didn't spend a lot of time creating the visualizations for all of you because, like you saw, cleaning the data, combining the files, appending them one below the other takes up majority of your time. Once you've done all of that, creating the visualizations is the easiest bit, and we'll focus on that in some other sessions that we've planned in the coming weeks, right? So for now, Dhruv, Akshat, and their team will show you the dashboard that they had created as part of the submission for their project.
uh, also it's important to know that if you're working on Teams also, if you're sharing on Teams also, uh, if you're sending a file from one person to another person, make sure that you're sending a Power BI file along with your Excel file as well. So if you, let's say, want to create a new measure, you have to change it from your transform data, and to make sure that its data source setting changes and it connects with the Excel files which have been sent to you and you have downloaded on your desktop actually, or saved it on your desktop, so that it works accordingly as per that. So this was a dashboard that we have created as well, which showcase what is our operating expense ratio, the year-on-year sales growth of the company, what is the growth margin percentage also, and if for a particular period also. So this net profit is, as of now, what you're seeing on the screen is combined of 22 and 23 years. But let's say if you want only for the 2023 year only, we see that the net profit has been 714 million only. And our year-on-year sales, what we showcased was decreased. So it has decreased from that standpoint of view also. Our average total sales though have increased from quarter three to quarter four to a certain extent also, but our overall profit, the net gross profit margin of the net profit has substantially decreased, even though the company is selling most of the units from quarter four 2023. So why this was there? The company can analyze from its standpoint of view. Also, if we drill down to a certain extent also, yeah. So let's say since beauty product is taking up the majority of the aspects also. So what comes under beauty products is our hair care, makeup, and skincare. So we can analyze our COGS and the operating profit margin ratio also, and the quick ratio the company is getting. And what has been the inventory levels with regards to the total sales. So whether if the company is getting the increasing its inventory to let's say for the Diwali festival, it has increased its inventory level. Whether that has been a benefit for the company to sell it and has whatever the company has planned from that particular festival, was it the right call for that company or not? These certain aspects have to be taken into consideration also, and we also go by the states also. So if you see average, all the measures that we have created, we just showcase it to you also, what accounts receivable is all about, what we have been talking about, why uh, has to be taken into the consideration. So these all aspects make up our financial position also. Uh, so we would be moving on to our use case scenarios as well. Um, Anirudh, if you're here as well, I think so. Anirudh got disconnected as well. So from a use case point of scenario also. Yeah. Anirudh, are you there?
No, I was saying, how many more slides do you have to cover?
No, no,
Just use cases,
Perfect, perfect, perfect. You can then
Yeah.
cover that and then we can move towards the end.
Like, should I take use cases, Dhruv?
yeah, Akshat, if you want, you can go
Yeah.
ahead, take up the
Like, can you
use
show
cases.
it like the slide, in the
Yeah,
PPT?
yeah. So this was all our project, what we have done about. We have taken certain inferences also. We just wanted to showcase our certain inferences and why exactly it is all about. So let's say the COGS ratio have increased from 22 to 23. So what can be done by the company? It can reconsider its supply renegotiation as well. And if operating more profit margin, if it's increased, so what exactly have the reasons and what can it do to ensure its scalability also that the company has to take in? And analysis from a financial standpoint of view, it's very important from a company in order to grow and become stable also. So yeah, these are the use cases, Akshat.
Yeah. So like as we wrap up, like I want to showcase like how similar data integration, and analytical modeling approaches can, empower organizations like across various industries. So like whether it is a hospital aiming to enhance the revenue cycle analysis, or a grocery store looking to optimize regional inventory, the foundation we have discussed, just now, the unified data sets, KPIs, focus models, and interactive visualization that you just saw, like are broadly applicable. So like for a healthcare system, tying together data from disparate systems like clinical, financial, pharmacy, and patient records, and more can support opportunities to control costs, accelerate billing, and drive growth. And for grocery, the grocery retailers can leverage integrated point of sale, supply chain, and customer data, basically to tailor product assortments and and inventory regionally while planning promotions and logistics for efficiency. And like in the case of fashion, the fashion apparel brands can react quicker to market trends through real-time sales analysis. That's what this company was basically lacking. And while smaller channel and geographic inventory planning prevents stock outs and write downs. So basically, like in a nutshell, the common thread is the harnessing granular real-time data in an integrated structure. That's what it is. I think so. I hope you found this session useful, like in highlighting the analytics journey. And thank you. And do reach out if you would like to explore further applications.
Thank you,
Perfect.
everyone.
Dhruv, Akshat, I think that was a fantastic session, and you handled it exceptionally well. The entire data loading, data transformation, and data cleaning bit. If anyone has any questions, they can put them in the chat. To answer Norman's question that he had asked regarding whether the dataset is an actual dataset or a dummy dataset, Norman, the dataset was created on ChatGPT, but the problems in the dataset that you see, the data cleaning that these guys did, are what you will see in any actual dataset in any organization across, irrespective of the function or the industry. The type of the dataset or the problems within the dataset are the same that you would encounter at any other organization when working on an actual dataset as well. So if anyone has any questions, they can put them in chat, or else thank you everyone for joining in.